So if you don't know these houses, this has got to be super confusing for you because they're talking about Baratheon and Targaryens. These are very common names if you've watched Game of Thrones.
The name in the second episode said Lannister.
Lannister. Do you know Lannister?
I know it's important.
That's... Guys, this might be the most interesting video you've ever seen, because here is the concept of what you're about to watch. I have seen all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, both seasons of House of the Dragon, and I've read the first book of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
Now, I'm not as deep in Westeros as other people, but I would say I know Game of Thrones decently well. Drew
has seen 2 episodes of
A Night of the
Seven Kingdoms.
As of right now. He has seen none of Game of Thrones, knows basically nothing about the universe whatsoever. And by the way, this is a podcast in the snow. Welcome back to Stole My Line, a Fireside film podcast. I'm Grant.
And I'm Drew.
And we are going to start talking about Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is awesome.
It is awesome.
So I can't believe that you've agreed to watch this show with me. I'm going to say this. I think this is the worst introduction to the world of Westeros that you could probably have. Because this is not Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. Like, those are sweeping epics with political intrigue and backstabbing and war. And this is a comedy show.
This is not that.
Like, I'm going to say kind of straight up, this is just a comedy show.
I like it.
No, yeah. And I think there's a lot of really good character elements and everything. But this is kind of a
But this is not Game of Thrones, what you're saying.
Yeah. So
okay.
I am very excited to hear your thoughts on this because you're very new to Westeros and all this stuff. I am very new. And all that stuff. So we reviewed episodes 1 and 2, which are both out. What?
Wait, what are you saying?
I'm saying, we are talking about.
This is 1 and 2.
Yeah. Like, this is what we're going to be talking about. Sorry. Yeah. And what did you think? I want to hear all of your thoughts.
Okay. I came into this
no filter
with no expectations.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah. How you should.
Only because you told me, you were like, because he had watched the first episode before I did. Mm-hmm. So he's like, don't expect an epic. Just kind of watch it.
Yeah.
So I did. I thought the first episode was fine.
Yeah.
It was kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand what was going on. I'm like, all right, this guy wants to be a knight. And
he's kind of a knight.
And his knight above him died.
Yes.
And then he's like in this town and he wants to compete in the tournament. I'm like, okay, great.
That's kind of all you need. You got the gist of it.
Yeah. But like, I don't think I understood, like, the guy with the reindeer freaking crown.
Yeah.
Don't know who he is.
Yeah. So he's a Baratheon.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. He's like, his descendant is Robert Baratheon, who became king of the Seven Kingdoms. And their house sigil is a stag, which is why he's wearing the antlers.
Wait, okay. I'm going to look like a complete idiot, and I'm okay with that. Give me, like, what is the Seven Kingdoms, and what is Westeros?
Okay, so Westeros is kind of the world. Okay. And the Seven Kingdoms, there's this kind of big-ish island. And there's other islands and stuff across the sea and whatever. But Seven Kingdoms is this big-ish island that's, like, the main setting. And there's 7 kingdoms. And so there's a bunch of different lands and stuff. The north is kind of the main focal point of the main characters of Game of Thrones, like Winterfell in the north. So the whole thing is like they're kind of ruled by one king down at the bottom-ish of Westeros. And right now, where we are in Night of Seven Kingdoms, they're ruled by the Targaryen house.
Is that all the people in the black in the second episode?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Targaryens are a huge player in Game of Thrones too. So if you don't know these houses, this has got to be super confusing for you because they're talking about Baratheon and Targaryens. These are very common names if you've watched Game of Thrones.
The name in the second episode said Lannister.
Lannister. Do you know Lannister?
I know it's important.
They are also very big players in Game of Thrones.
Are they another house?
They are another house. House Lannister. Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So you're catching on a little bit.
I'm a smart cookie. What can I say?
What can you say? So that's kind of the gist of the world that you're in. But the thing about this show is that as of right now, it's not really sweeping across all of Westeros.
Right, it's
like,
not.
When you're watching Game of Thrones, you were jumping between locations and houses and characters and stuff. And in this, you're kind of just with Dunk and Egg, which is great in my opinion.
Low-key, I love Dunk and Egg.
Oh, Dunk and Egg are awesome.
I love Egg.
Yeah, which there's stuff with Egg that's going to be revealed if you haven't picked up on it already. But
okay, so do you know these characters?
Okay, brief backstory.
Okay.
Before we dive into episode by episode, because I think we need to. This is a book. This is kind of like an episodic short story thing. I haven't read it, so if I'm like way off the mark, you can flame me in the comments. But it's kind of like how the show is, just in book form. So while Game of Thrones, those books are the big sweeping epics. He just kind of wrote a short story about Dunk and Egg, which is its own thing.
Do you know these characters in are they mentioned in Game of Thrones?
No. Well, they're not alive in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But they are referenced once in Game of Thrones, like season 2. Actually, it might be a little later. But they're referenced that there's a reference in the show that Sir Duncan the Tall has like 4 pages written about him in the histories. And they're like, wow, what did this dude do? And they're just like, he was awesome. And like that's all they say about him in the show.
Okay, sick.
And it's been like, I think 12 years since that episode came out. And so
that's wild.
Yeah. So there's like a little bit of history, but in the Game of Thrones world, there's House of Dragon, like chronologically is first.
House of Dragon.
Right now, and then Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and then Game of Thrones, how that happens chronologically.
Okay.
House of Dragon is about the Targaryens and them and all their issues getting to the throne and all that. And then there's this, and then Game of Thrones is all that happens after. So it's kind of a wild time. I'm very curious if you'll ever get into Game of Thrones after this, but this is a short story. This is very much character focused on Dunk and Egg. And if you know the world, there's some benefit to it, but if you don't, I still think you can enjoy it. So
I am enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about just the first episode right now. What did you think? I actually want to hear just like, what did you think of the introduction to the entire show?
Well, again, I came in with no expectations, but first thought, I was like, wait, am I supposed to know who the dead guy is?
No.
And then I gathered, because it explains later. And then it's just like it started on him, and then it started playing the music, and like I knew the song.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to him like crapping behind a tree,
which was hilarious, by the way.
And I'm like, all right, I kind of get the vibe of this show.
Yeah,
I understand where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Duncan's super interesting, just because I think he's like played by a rugby player.
Yes.
Which
the casting is great.
Is crazy.
Yeah. Insane.
But I think he's super interesting as a character just because he's kind of insecure and like doesn't really know where he fits in the world.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be like 16 in the books, which
really?
I think they've aged him up for the show a little bit. Like they haven't said his age, but he's supposed to be younger.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going. But
I like his character a lot. I think he's super good-hearted and insecure and like doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then Egg comes in and he's just like so witty and like just kind of roasts Duncan all the time.
Yes,
and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, because I don't know Dunk or Egg yet, I haven't read the book again. I kind of fell in love with their characters instantly because you want Dunk to just be an awesome knight.
Yeah, you want him
but
to
he's
succeed.
like so far from it. Like he just does not know what he's doing. And there's some moments in the first episode, especially in the second episode, you're just like, this guy's kind of dumb.
Well, and he even says he's like, I'm just stupid.
Yeah, and I think it's great though, because you root for him and you want him to succeed, and he's super lovable. I mean, both of these characters are super lovable. So I do think this show's a slow burn, and you kind of get that,
especially the first episode.
Yeah, and the second episode picks up a little bit, but it still is kind of a slow burn, and again, it's a very small story as of right now compared to the sweeping epics. So you're kind of just watching him like walk around for half of the show so far, but that's okay.
Basically, watching him be like, "Hey, yo, do you know Penny Tree?"
Yeah.
No. Okay. Hey, do you know Penny Tree?
It's like, no.
Nope. But one of them did. Is it a Targaryen?
Yeah. Well, okay. That's jumping to episode 2.
Wait. Yeah.
Anyway, episode 1, you felt okay about. I felt okay about.
Yeah, I think episode 1 was fine.
Which, this kind of thing with the weekly releases, if you get a slow episode, you're kind of like, well, I guess I'll wait till next week to get more of that. It's probably how this will be. But episode 2, we jump right back in. Duncan and Egg are together trying to get into this tournament, right? And yeah, you said it yourself, the Targaryen guy, who I'm still catching up on these guys' names. I don't know all of them off the dome, but the main Targaryen dude who's like leading everybody is like, oh yeah, I know your knight. I know your hedge knight, which is kind of wild. And so it kind of gets him into the tournament is what's alluded to.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. What did you think of, I guess, maybe some of the side characters and stuff? Are there any that have stuck out to you, or were there any sequences in the second episode that you were like, this sequence was really fun, or I was really interested by the jousting or whatever?
The jousting was sick.
Yeah.
I think drunk reindeer man from the first one.
Yeah.
Intriguing. I think the Targaryens
Mm-hmm.
were intriguing just because they have so much power, just kind of like by nature of existing.
Yes.
And I think that was cool to watch.
Yes.
And then like I just like watching Duncan.
Yeah.
I watch him. I like watching him exist. I like watching him kind of get crapped on by
And interact with
everything
people.
and everyone.
Yeah. Completely agree. Do you have any thoughts on what Egg's backstory is? Just curious if you've caught on to anything. You're just like, I don't know, he's a dude.
Well, he's an orphan.
Maybe.
At least he claimed to
He
be.
claims to be. I haven't read the book, so I'm
Do
not
you know?
I have my suspicions. I haven't read the book, and I'm not going to spoil the show for myself yet, but I have my suspicions.
I don't. I'm operating on simply what the show has told me, and the show has told me he's an orphan.
Okay.
And he had a mom, kind of, but then he just up and ran away. So I'm assuming they're not like super tight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he really wants to be a knight.
Yeah, that part is definitely true.
Okay. Is Egg in Game of Thrones?
No. At least not to my knowledge. I think it takes place like far enough back in time that I don't think any of these characters actually overlap. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I think I really enjoyed just following Duncan Egg just throughout everything overall with the show so far. And I know you've kind of said the same thing, but it makes me excited to see how he fares in the tournament, how he kind of becomes this great knight that he is. I think that's why I'm on board with the shows. One, I love the characters so far, and two, I want to see all these great deeds that he supposedly does.
Right.
So, yeah.
As a Game of Thrones fan,
Okay.
what are your thoughts? Like, do you, overall, you're like, I mean, I know you're in it as like a kind of a character piece, but like as an addition to the universe.
I think it's great. I mean, this is the stuff where the world building can actually be super helpful. It's because you just kind of get to play around in the world. You see this stuff with Star Wars all the time. You know, like Star Wars has the big sweeping epic. That's the actual big movies. And then you have, you know, the Rebels show, which is just, it kind of touches into that big sweeping epic, but it just takes place within it, which maybe that's not a great example. Maybe you're looking at something smaller, like Andor is maybe a closer example. Maybe it's a little darker, like this is a little more comedic, but I mean, it just takes place in this microcosm of the universe. But when you dig into the characters and how they interact with this world, it's super interesting. And I think that's what you're kind of getting here, at least in my opinion, is it's really cool that if you know the big sweeping story, it's great. And now you can just dive into this one little blip in time within the universe that is also very cool. So I'm a fan of it. I mean, it's probably not going to be the best show Game of Thrones will put out overall. I do think House of Dragon is super strong right now.
That's your favorite?
Well,
Like,
it's not done. House of Dragon is great. It's great. And I would say Game of Thrones is like incredible until I think season 6 is where it starts to go downhill. I know some people love 6. 7 and 8 are really where it goes downhill. So it's hard to be like Game of Thrones is the best stuff that the universe has, like the Game of Thrones universe has, because it just kind of flops at the end.
Yeah.
But I do think House of Dragon is super strong. I'm very excited to see how it concludes. I've not read Fire and Blood yet, so I don't know how that story is going to conclude, but I'm invested in that. So, yeah, I think overall this could be a super strong entry in the universe, and it's a nice change of pace from the other stuff that we're getting in Game of Thrones. Like, there's not a ton of backstabbing stuff that's happening right now.
It's just like you're focused on two dudes
kind of just trying to get into a tournament. It's really fun.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. I'm excited to see how episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 all turn out. But I'm on board. So, yeah. Any other thoughts before we wrap this junk up?
We are going to review episode by episode. Is that what we're doing?
Maybe. Probably. We might go 2 episodes.
We might go 2 episodes.
We'll see.
But we will review the show.
And thank you guys for... I'm just kidding. Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff coming out. And
we got Wonder Man, if you're into Marvel.
Yep.
That review will be dropped. It's going to be a little later. It was supposed to be Wednesday, but we realized they're dropping the whole season at once.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to dive into that, and we'll review that. But reviews are great, so tune in for that. And we are doing an Oscars catch-up, so lock in for that, because there's a lot of great movies that most people haven't seen, and we're going to try to go through them. So, yeah. We love you guys, and hit that subscribe button if you like watching the podcast in the snow. Take a break.
Hold on, we're not going to promise snow every time.
We are not, actually.
We are not God, so we cannot do that. But if it'll be outside and by a fire.
And if it snows again.
If it snows again, we'll be out here.
We will be out here again.
Because this is going to look sick on camera.
Hopefully. Yeah, love you guys. Take a break.
Enjoy it.